Welcome, everyone. My name is Guru Bala. I'm the country president for Securitas Hong Kong and Macau, and we are a global security and a technology company based out of Hong Kong. It's a company with headquarters in Sweden. Now, when people hear security, and many people still imagine security guards, radios, and patrols. But today, security is rapidly becoming a technology business powered by a lot of software, data automation, and people still connecting the physical and digital worlds. Now, in this session, I'll give you a brief intro into the world of security and also share my journey in Hong Kong. See, my career was not a straight line. It was more like the Hong Kong traffic. Fast, occasionally confusing, but at the end of the day, you'll get to where you need to go. By the way, in Hong Kong, keep right on the escalators if you're standing and you walk on the left side. I started off my journey in Europe, mostly in the Netherlands, UK, and Belgium, before I pushed for a role into Asia. So when I landed here, I was a finance business partner. My background actually started off in architecture, but I finished that and then studied finance again. Now, after several roles within the finance industry, I pushed a bit more into operations and commercial roles. Why? Because I'm not a traditional finance guy. I like to work with people to achieve the numbers rather than actually producing the numbers. And that's how I sort of landed also into this current role as country president of Securitas in 2012. This role, I'm more focused on managing people. We have a workforce of about 1,000 staff, and also majority is by driving our technology and innovation business in Hong Kong. Throughout my career, I've also been very active outside of the 9 to 5 work, working with a few boards and committees. I'm the chair for CMA Hong Kong for 2025-26, and CMA is a management accounting body looking after the CMA accountants in this region. Also a committee member for the Hong Kong Security Association, and I'm on the board for the Swedish Chambers of Commerce, where I also run the Future of Finance subcommittee. For now, this is keeping me busy enough. I moved into Hong Kong actually not knowing what Hong Kong was about, or even where it was, or what they spoke. I literally didn't know a lot about it. Uh, but I have to say, the last 12 years that I've been here, it's been a really great experience, country-wise and also work-wise. I mean, there's so much to learn about the culture, and there's so much change happening in the business community, quite positively, because it allows you to contribute to the community, to give back, and helping businesses to transform. And it's important to realize as well that even though you may have a global experience, a superb great skill set, it's still the local nuance and understanding of the culture that will bring you that bigger rewards and steps in your career. When it comes to SEMA, I started my SEMA straight after my master's in finance. I started that journey in Europe. But even throughout my transition in 4 countries, I was still able to continue with SEMA and get the support I needed to complete it in 3 years, and also with the experience that you have to show. When I moved to Hong Kong, I was still in my final exam periods, and the community here and the SEMA office did a very great job of helping me getting settled also in the Hong Kong finance community. And it's a large community here in finance. It's one of the great pillars here in Hong Kong. SEMA did help me to show as well, it's not just about reporting, it's about influencing business, helping bringing the change to the organization. And SEMA does put a lot of emphasis on the commercial thinking and leadership. End of the day, it is all about the people. When you think of the traditional security industry, a lot of people still think it's about guards, patrols, but it has changed so much. And the industry is seeing a very large transformation. A lot of it driven by AI, but also just the technology advancement is catching up a lot more into this industry. The traditional roles are still important and they're not going away, but they're no longer the whole story. They are part of the story nowadays. security has moved from pure manpower to more intelligence and integrated and technology enabled prevention, and giving also more insight into what's happening to our clients. And we've seen a large utilization as well of advanced security measures. So AI-enabled cameras. We've seen a lot more connected sensors. Biometrics has been moving up a lot, and also anti-drone preventions and robotics. As threat actors are becoming more advanced, so does have to be your defense. And what that means for the workforce is they have to be able to deal with these systems, manage these systems, and actually it requires a change in the skill sets demands. And with that change, there's a large opportunity as well. See that modern day security, it increasingly is combining software, data analytics, and a lot of automation as well. Most of the sensors are all IoT and have every type of video analytics in there. There's an element of cybersecurity, and all platforms are integrated and speaking to each other. It's becoming really a connected world. Um, Cameras have built-in intelligent sensors, access controls, basically tracking you everywhere you go through either biometrics, fingerprints, or just your or any type of ID. It's your identity management nowadays, right? And when it comes to control rooms, they are collecting a large amount of data, which needs to be protected. So frontline teams no longer are frontline guards. They are becoming technology-enabled professionals. Industry-wise, the core is still the same. We're protecting people and their assets, but the operating model, the how, is changing rapidly, and it will continue to change. And this is where, again, it becomes an opportunity for you. Now, I did mention more technology, but it's not only technology, right? It's more real-time decision making. It's understanding the different data sets and making an active decision, an influence decision that you then can bring to the clients to make change or improve or protect. Physical events creating digital signals through any type of sensors, any type of triggers, which then also trigger physical responses back from the guards, the patrols, or the robots. Right? It becomes very much driven by AI as well, because you don't want to be able to act on every trigger. So AI analyzes what type of triggers there are, the high volumes of sensors and data that's been captured, analyzed through AI, selected on which ones need to be acted upon, and they are then now becoming a very core of the infrastructure, not just for single buildings, but throughout Hong Kong, smart cities, and connected environments. The whole ecosystem is there. I mean, I did say one building, but in Hong Kong, one building can contain retail, offices, restaurants, data rooms. There will be VIP visitors coming in. Thousands of people will move in every hour. And that's a very different from when you're coming from Europe or from a city that's not vertical. You'll see queues for elevators that are outside of the building, for example, right? Now, what that means, it adds complexity when it comes to security. When you think of Hong Kong, it's a finance hub, and it also draws a lot of events. It's an events capital, right? So where more events are coming in into a very dense area with mixed work streams and people streams, security becomes quite crucial. But it also means that you have to work together with different layers of security when it comes to your end clients or your building security, or even outside security systems. So integration becomes important, communication becomes crucial, and then it comes all about understanding what it is that you're seeing, what it is that you're picking up, and where do you need to act on. So none of it that I basically said about would look like, oh, a traditional guard who would open the door and looks at your credentials and let you walk through. It's much more than that nowadays, right? And that's where I think it's so important. You cannot no longer think of security systems as a separate product. Someone else for the access control, someone else for the camera, someone else for this. No, it is so connected nowadays, right? And for events or for any type of access control, you can use different type of methods, RFIDs or QR-based credentials. You can have different types of access for different floors because again, it's a vertical city, not necessarily horizontal with different access points. Everything is now accessible through an elevator. So you've seen nowadays as well, elevator buttons are disappearing. The moment you are scanning in, the system knows where you need to be or where you're allowed to be. So that becomes quite interesting to make sure that you've checked in quite properly. It also looks at capacity and can monitor building management systems, PMS. Integrated into a whole commercial building is almost like a whole ecosystem there, a separate ecosystem. And that becomes rapidly complex for the security workforce because it's different systems, different integrations, different languages, while still maintaining the core focus of protecting people and being very, very vigilant with that number of people. You have to be on your toes constantly. So it's not a surprise that after all of this, there is a need for different skill sets in this sector, in this industry, and also in Hong Kong. The industry needs people who can design, install, and integrate security systems, but also can analyze input and data and manage systems that are enabled by technology. And Hong Kong has got shortages in this area. Um, while there is AI literacy, cybersecurity expansion, it just becomes more important to have these skill sets integrated. So when you actually are looking into coming into Hong Kong to enter the workforce, having these type of skill sets gives you an edge already because it's where the next 5 to 10 years for Hong Kong is about, is connecting and the industry's technological skill sets. Don't forget, it's also important that you have an understanding of business and being able to communicate with clients and customers. So it cannot be a techie and not being able to speak to customers or to other departments. Again, connected, integrated skill sets. So just in this type of industry, right? What type of roles or talents are they looking for? I mean, these are just a few that's listed out, but they're when it comes to a security systems engineer or video analytics specialist or a security operations data analyst, someone who also can manage digital transformation, project management, or IoT integration engineer. There's lots of different roles that are getting added into the workforce in the security landscape, which were not done before. But it's also about risk. So there's also a lot more risk functions coming in, looking at providing intelligence to the workforce on what's happening around the world, what are the threats that are happening there. I mean, at Securitas, we built our own risk intelligence center, which is rapidly expanding, and we see more organizations actually looking for crisis center roles. If you're interested in that, let me know because I've got a few roles already open for that. A lot of the roles are also very hybrid. So need to be able to translate between a more technical, but still also working on a business and at the end of the day, work with people. So yes, what we need, what would be definitely an added value is the cross-border experience, where you have exposure to different regulations, different operating models, can bring in your experience with different technology ecosystems. That would be a good asset. But, and we've seen that quite a lot in the past as well, you cannot come in with, I have the greatest set of experience, and that will make it work. You have to pair it with the respect for local customers, local culture, understanding the local regulations, and also the working practices. In a sense, it's a good mix of local knowledge with international perspective. Global talent at the end will not replace a local talent. Yeah, we're working together on bringing the city forward. Some of the lessons learned On my end, yeah, this will be very interesting. Just mostly around work. Be useful, right? And that sounds simple, but it's you need to be a problem solver. That gives you an edge here. Um, and with problem solver also means you need to execute. So it's great to have as many thoughts and ideas, but at the end of the day, execution is what shows delivery, and that will set you apart from the rest of the workforce. Understanding local culture early on, understand its rhythm, its heartbeat, different from other cities. Even though it's international, it still has a very local heartbeat. So get in touch with that. Get out of your own box. I think that's very important. If you're in finance, don't just stay in finance. Try to understand the rest of the business, trying to find your connection to the rest of the organization. And same for any other function. Trying to get out of the box. That's the best way to learn, best way to make steps in your career. Build your network. For the introverts out there, I know it's a pain, but get it's an amazing place to actually know a lot more people and expand your network rapidly. There are events for expats, there are events for communities, chambers of commerce, you have cultural communities, and sports. Hong Kong is an amazing place for outdoor activities or indoor sports. And that's the best way of getting to know people and building your network. And they say, right, the best deals are made in a golf course. It here happens everywhere. So get out and meet people. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about your phone, technology, but it's people that still make the change and decide what works and what doesn't work. So keep the human level interaction there as well. So yeah, lastly, I mean, I came to Hong Kong 12 years ago as a foreign talent just for 1 year, but then here we are a decade later, and we'll be here for longer as well. I'm staying here, obviously. City is rewarding people, willing to adapt, uh, contribute, and keep learning. It's a work hard, play hard mentality. So keep on doing that, keep on learning, and you will have a very great start here in Hong Kong. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. Take care.